And welcome back to Forbes Sports Money. While professional sports get most of the media attention, youth and amateur sports are also big business. And like their professional counterparts, youth sports are becoming more competitive and specialized. Travel teams, tournaments, and sport-specific training today resemble more closely the major leagues rather than the pickup games of yesteryear. And with communities increasingly unable to afford investment in equipment, fields, and training facilities, the private sector is stepping in and raising the bar. One such entrepreneur is Pathik, whose consulting company, the Sports Facilities Advisory, provides the financial brain and management legwork for sports tournaments and facilities like Bo Jackson's Elite Sports, a sports business that's set for national expansion. Mike Lozanian traveled out to Lockport, Illinois to take a look at the newest step in the evolution of youth and amateur sports and to discuss this multi-billion-dollar business for our Sports Money Profile.
How has the mindset of parents changed since the time when you and I would come home from school, change our clothes, and whatever season it was, that was the sport we played, to where we are today impacted this industry?
Well, I mean, listen, you have a lot of parents who are dreaming and hoping that their kids are going to get a college scholarship, whether it's baseball, it's football, soccer, lacrosse, volleyball. Parents who are looking at the cost of college education are starting to look for solutions. They see their kid have a little bit of talent and they think, maybe I should dedicate a little more resource to this. So parents have decided to spend money, and they've continued to spend money. Even through the recession, we had parents who would not go out to dinner, but they'd continue to spend money on their kids' participation in sport. So that's a shift, that parent being truly dedicated to the development of their athlete when they see just a glimmer of hope, a little bit of talent. That's one shift. The other mindset of parents, I think, that's shifted is that now they know your kid's not even going to make it onto a high school team unless they are training, sports-specific training early in their career. Unless they are, an extraordinarily talented athlete like a Bo Jackson, a kid who's going to try to make it onto a high school team in the hopes that perhaps they'll make it on a college team. They're going to need to start sports-specific training earlier. And that is a big shift from the time when you and I were kids and we just go out in the street and play, or we play 2 or 3 sports.
When you look at the growth of this industry in terms of facilities, money raised, the youth that participate in coming to these facilities, what do the trends suggest?
I don't think this is a fad. Youth and amateur sports has gotten increasingly more competitive. We have more and more kids participating. Parents and I think our society now dictate that kids are going to be in structured activity, whether it's art or sport. But in the sports world, I think we're going to see an increased amount of participation, this continued privatization of the sports industry. And now I believe the trend will be that technology will attract sponsor revenue and advertisers to the market. Traditionally these facilities have been for the local community, and the number of eyeballs that a sponsor can get has to do with the number of door swings in an individual facility. That's going to change as we have grandparents now watching online games of their kids. Their grandparents are in Omaha and they're watching kids play in Florida or play in Cooperstown. That's creating more eyeballs, it's more online exposure. So now we're seeing the attention of major corporate sponsors and advertising, and I believe that's going to shift the industry significantly.
How many facilities have you overseen in the construction of since the inception of your company?
We've done, in total, we've done about $4 billion in youth and amateur sports complexes. That means that we have analyzed, planned, helped to fund, open, or manage somewhere in the neighborhood of 130 different facilities. This year alone, we'll do 1.5 million square feet of indoor facilities and 800 acres outdoor. We'll buy more turf this year than anyone on planet Earth.
Is this trend expanding outside of the United States?
It is. I mean, you see sports tourism in particular, throughout the Caribbean. We did the opening of the National Stadium of the Bahamas this last year with the Carifta Games. That was 25 Caribbean nations coming together to compete in Nassau. Throughout the Middle East, you see new developments coming online, and many of them are dedicated to youth and amateur competitions or collegiate competitions.
So the number of deals that you're talking about, it's not just for training facilities, it's also places where they have competitions like baseball tournaments?
That's exactly right. So there's a bigger expansion in those competitive environments. We're seeing more sports tourism, more competition venues, more tournament venues. And following that, of course, are developments like Bo Jackson's Elite Sports, where athletes get the training they need to be able to compete at that level.
How is the trend between having a sports training facility like this with sports tourism, where you have tournaments, merged over the last few years?
Well, I think you'll see that right now you have all these government entities pouring money into new developments, tournament destinations, right? They say, well, if we build this tournament destination and we host 70,000 athletes in a year, we're going to fill our hotel rooms, we're going to fill them on weekends, and on those weekends, the hotel bed tax, the tax that's associated with that, is going to pay back to the government more than the government has spent on that new tournament destination. So there's a wildfire movement right now across the country. In a normal day, we'll get 5 or 6 calls from different municipalities hoping to do that sort of thing. But that's filling the need for tournaments. But remember, all of these kids now are playing in tournaments with very little training resources. You know, the training has been that you get in a batting cage for a few hours, and then you leave there and you go down the road and you go to your fitness membership. And because of your fitness membership, you can work out, you can lift weights. There haven't been places like Bo Jackson's Elite Sports where an athlete can get all of that in one place in one period of time. That's what's so unique and different about that. That's why there's so much demand for this throughout the Midwest. You know, cities calling to say, can we have a Bo Jackson's Elite Sports facility? And financiers and investors saying, how do we get involved? Folks can see that we're really on the leading edge of this.
Up next, we'll discuss this growing sports business with the man, the legend, Bo Jackson.
Who is that guy?